Welcome to the Val and Ann Show. I'm Val.
I'm Ange.
All right, on the field, off the field.
We got your game plan.
Let's take your game to the next level.
Let's go.
What does loyalty mean?
What does you sound like you're sleeping?
What does loyalty mean? That's what it sounds like in today's world. It's like a blur.
I think there's so many different levels when we talk about loyalty. Loyalty as an adult. In an adult relationship, what does loyalty look like? In an athlete to athlete relationship, what does it look like? And then an athlete to coach relationship. Even an athlete to a parent.
Well,
there's so many. I know I'm getting dramatic.
No, you're not, because it is a dramatic word.
Yes.
But loyalty and accountability goes together for me. Like the second we mentioned this to each other a couple weeks ago, it was like loyalty. That jumped out because it's such a tissue paper word nowadays to most people. Mm-hmm. But it means the most to the people that actually care. Mm-hmm. And you wanna be loyal, right? One, to yourself, right? But also to your teammates. If we're talking athlete to athlete, you want to be loyal to the process. But you got to be held accountable to all three. That's why for me with loyalty, when you're all in, you're all in. Okay. You can't date that word. You got to marry that, and you got to say, listen, loyalty is loyalty. I'm going to be loyal to you. You got to be loyal to me. I'm going to be held accountable because I'm loyal to the program. I'm loyal to the process. Mm-hmm. All right? I know where you're supposed to be. I know what you're supposed to do. All right. When we're out on this field, it's 11 on 11. You do your job. I'm going to do my job. I got your back. You got my back. Let's go to war. Mm-hmm. And that's the loyalty and the accountability. But that when you think you're bigger than the program, that word loyalty is gone. Mm-hmm. Right? Then it turns into I, not we. Then it turns into me. Well, what about us? We got to distribute the ball so that way you can get yours and I can get mine. Mm-hmm. All right, and everybody can eat. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's too much loyalty in the name of sports too much. I think that has taken a little bit higher of the percentage side. Where the transfers, I had this conversation with the kids this morning in the gym. I'm just like, if I turn and make you a stud, all right, and let's say you're a 3-star recruit and I turn and make you a stud, and all of a sudden you want to abort the mission now. Well, we got more work to do. Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you want to leave your legacy on a program, but because you want to be unloyal and think that you're bigger in a program and you want to go to a bigger program where you're going to be second tier, mm-hmm. because you're blinded by all the glitz and glamour. Mm-hmm. Well, that destroys us doing something together. Mm-hmm. There's no loyalty to me because I gave you this opportunity. I coached you, I trained you, I pushed you,
I think of loyalty, I think of Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
The movie, right? Mm-hmm. Like he had the glitz and the glamour, mm-hmm. and then he left, and he had one guy, and he made that one guy and gave him everything. That one guy, everything, and that's what he went with instead of the 10 big names. And yeah. I think that's really powerful right now in this day and age, because a big coach can tell you, I'm going to make you into a 5-star. But then you have your other coach that's saying, I'm going to love you for all of who you are and go through your ups and downs with you. Who do you want to play for? Do you want to just chase the 5-star who, if you don't do well, he's going to step on you? Or are you going to chase the guy who's going to be there for your ups and downs, know your ins and outs, mm-hmm. and love you? And I think that's loyalty. Like when you choose the human over, the glitz and glamour, I think is important nowadays. But that's hard because sometimes the why behind the guy that wants the 5-star is a struggling athlete who struggled with money his whole life and wants to provide for his family. And there is those circumstances where it's like, I'm going to chase that deal. And hopefully along the way, when he chases that deal, they're learning character. That's what I hope for, you know?
But, and you're right. But let's say something throws a bump in the road and it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
Now you want to come backwards. And backwards might not be too forgiving.
Yeah.
You know, because they're human too.
Yes.
You know, not everybody's going to say, all right, you can come back, but I'm not going to trust you.
Yes. Yes.
Because who's to say that, okay, we revamp it, we build you back up, we show you the love, and then you disappear again.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So it's a very touchy word, and you know, but it can be a positive word, it can be a negative word. It all depends on how you view it.
See, I don't think that kids are going to completely capture the word loyalty. They don't like. I know for me, I didn't learn loyalty to the past couple of years of my life. Honest. And I'm sure you feel the same. And I know we want.
I grabbed on the loyalty. I'll never forget. I was at prep school, and college coaches were trying to come recruit me, but I was like, no, I already committed to Rutgers, and they were trying to get me to turn. I was like, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
They was like, giving you. I'm just like, that's not who I am. And I fought my prep school coach on that. I was like, no, I don't want to sit and meet with them. They was like, you still got to hear him out. And I was like, all right, because you told me to. I'll sit down and I hear him out. And I ain't going with an attitude like, whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to come hear you out because I don't believe in burning bridges. But I'll never forget, I'm sitting in the office with the Central Connecticut coach. And I had another meeting after that with Ohio. And then the Rutgers coach came walking by, and I got up and I walked out of the office. And I was just like, and in all my rough times at Rutgers, I remember that time. And the words of my mother rung in my head. No, Rutgers gave you this opportunity. You have to see it through. No matter how hard it gets, you got to see it through. I was like, because it's going to teach you more in this moment, but it's going to teach you more in the later part of your life. And I remember those hard days.
Yeah.
And it taught me a whole lot. And I was 19 years old, and that's when I really can look back and say I grabbed on the loyalty.
And think about that, though. I was like, it's just wild the way you just went there. Your mother taught you loyalty.
Yeah.
It started with your mother.
Oh, yeah, because she could have, listen.
That's a value. That's a value you learn. And then if you don't learn that value when they get to high school, it's hard to teach it as a coach.
Yeah.
It's hard to teach it if it wasn't already instilled. And then you got to do your best to do it. And then I think as time goes on, you eventually get it through your life experiences, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a cool story.
And kids will never understand. I never understood it because I was just always in the moment.
Yeah.
I've always been that person now. Okay, what am I doing right now in the moment?
Yeah.
I can't worry about, 5-10 minutes from now when I need to focus on what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Like, I was that kid in class. I finished my work. I'm like, all right, I can't focus on what's next because I'm not done with what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
And you got to, the processing of everything for me, I had to grow into that. Everything was a developmental, minute, day. I learned something new and I grabbed onto it. And I learned and just kept learning and just holding on to the things that I needed to hold on to. So, a visual person is always going to, analyze their surroundings and grab onto it. So, when you're loyal to the process and everything that you're doing, you're always going to be aware. You're always going to be aware of the little things. So that hard work that my mother instilled in me carried me to every other phase of my life.
Yes.
I
want to talk about loyalty to your teammates, even if you're not like best friends. So you're loyal to, because you said it before, you're loyal to the process, you're loyal to the program. So you have teammates that maybe you don't jive with. They're not your people, right? But if because you're all in a program, there has to be some level of loyalty to the process. I think that's really important. Maybe they don't buy into loyalty completely. Maybe they're not the one you asked to go to dinner. But when you're on that field, you're loyal to that person because you're achieving an ultimate goal.
The best way I sum it up is you might not like that person off the field, but on the field, you're family.
Yes.
I trust me when I tell you, growing up, me and my brother, we used to go to war. I'm like, man, stay away from me. But at the end of the day, you mess with him in the street, you got to mess with me.
Yes.
And that's, I'm not going to turn my cheek. I'm not going to walk away. So we're big on the family and that team atmosphere in between these white lines, right? We're one team, one sound, one movement, right? It's full blown, all out energy. And you got to pull your brother along, your sister along, even when they don't want to. All right, family.
Oh yeah. I mean,
big time.
And I think that's the biggest culture breaker ever. Is when you can turn around and talk about your teammate in the confines of between those white lines and be either upset that they scored a goal and you didn't, or mad about how they're getting treated and you're not. That's going to break your culture in half. And we have
This reminds me of Remember the Titans.
Yes.
That is my favorite movie. And I'm sitting here and I remember when Gary, he got paralyzed and he's sitting in what's the name, in the hospital. It's like, don't you see the resemblance? That's my brother right there.
Oh, yeah.
But before, earlier in the movie, they were at each other's head, wanting to kill each other. And they just kept bringing it together. And so we call it the Gettysburg Act.
Okay.
Right? You bring yourself together.
I like that.
And when you bring a team together, you're so hard to beat.
Yeah.
No matter what kind of adversity you throw it.
Yeah.
So, they had to stay loyal. Just talking about that movie, they had to stay loyal to something bigger.
Oh, yeah.
And they had to fight for, God knows, just to walk down the street, but they had to do it together. And that's leaving a legacy, but having loyalty in the process and believing in each other and setting a standard and just recreating history.
Yeah.
Recreating history. And it's based on a true story.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
You know,
Do you know some kids haven't seen it?
Yeah, I better go on them Apple TVs and
it blows my mind.
I'm surprised they didn't put it up on Netflix. That's shame on you, Netflix. Like, get it together.
They've got The Hunting Wives on Netflix.
Oh gosh, you got Love Island. What's going on?
Oh, don't even talk about it. I'm done.
What's
they have the SEC any given Saturday. It's so good. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I love it. I love it.
Hey, listen, I am all smiles because college football is on its way back. Football period is back.
Coming.
Saturday afternoons, all even. Listen, we'll watch all type of games.
I love it.
Sports period.
Okay, I'm gonna shift.
I watched. You watched the Ultimate Frisbee tournament? That thing was amazing.
No.
Right? Hey, listen, you talking about having fun. That's a fun thing to watch.
You have to be pretty athletic for that.
Oh, yeah. And I watched the kid top somebody.
It's intense.
I was like, ooh. But yeah.
Val just went off.
We always got to go off topic. You got to have a little fun with it. Listen,
yeah, you should have fun because I want to ask you this question. Ready? Because, we met... Our mom's regional, whatever. And we didn't talk much, but we just knew
this little lady walked up to me and popped me on my arm. I'm like,
get off my field. This is my turn.
You got it.
And then we reconnected last year and it's been incredible. How do you know, for me, learning loyalty later on, just to teach these kids and people just going through it, how do you know who to be loyal to? What do you look to in a person?
People.
How did you know to be loyal to me?
I just have that sense.
Yeah.
It's weird. I know who to stay away from.
Yeah.
And I know who's a gimme person, and I know who's gonna have my back even when they're not in my presence.
Yeah.
And I felt that, and I was just yeah, Anne's good people's, and she's high energy, where I'm just I got the energy, but I'm as big as I am, I'm whatever. But it was just a connection that we had, and it was just a force, and now you can't turn it off. You just got to turn it up.
Yeah. Like even with you, like with Chad, you know, you're so super loyal. Like he's your guy, you know, like you go back to that space. And I think for me, like I have learned that it's the people that are my ride and dies for the next 50 years will be the ones that don't need anything from me, but will give to me even when it doesn't benefit them.
And just take the words right out of my mouth. It wasn't like we needed to.
Yeah.
You know, this was just this is just us being us, and we just connected.
Yeah.
And I didn't need anything from you. You didn't need anything from me, and we just.
And even if like life changes, you don't have to talk to that person every day, but you know that there's a loyalty there that, yeah, like you're the guy that you won't let anybody talk about me they ain't gonna be standing too long. You know, that's just how it is. You know, yeah.
And that circle for me is not very big. You know, because you know, no matter how many it all comes back down to the loyalty and family and accountability. You know, I'm a ride or die with who and what I feel is right. Right? And I've been approached on so many different things, and I'm just like, no, that's not what we're gonna do. You know, and if it is right, I'm gonna say, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And you know, that's how we roll. You know, with us, like, that's the day one. You can feel your presence when you walked into the weight room that day. And I'm just like, that's Ann. I'm like, oh, Ann's cool people. I'm listening to you talk. I'm like, well, yeah, you interact with people. I'm like, yeah, she in it for the right reasons. And when you in it for the right reasons, with all the things that you can have possibly going on, no matter what.
Yeah.
You're a people's person.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like people.
Oh yeah, you know.
So I want to give like our athletes listening some advice on like what to look for in that person that will become their ride or die. Like to me, I would start with it's not the person that's going to not keep you on pace for what you want out of your life. So it's easy to hang out with the people that want to deter you from and distract you from what you want in life. So look at your group of friends and be like, okay, who is holding me accountable? Who is respecting my choice to come home on a Friday night and not go out drinking? Who is that person, right? I think that's important nowadays for kids to be reminded of that.
Oh, big time. You know, loyalty to me is, you know, one, never forget where you come from.
Good one.
You know, just know where you're going, but never forget where you come from.
Yeah.
And I see it happen so many times where people forget who helped them along the way, even in trying times. Like, and I had a trying summer with it, and I had a hard time where I'm just like, that's how you want to be now? You want to act brand new? And I took it personal, and I said, you know what? It is what it is. They made an executive decision. And I got that compartment sitting in my head where I'll put it back here. I ain't going to forget it. Yeah. And I'm just like, you know what? It is what it is. Yeah. And I always remember where I come from. I'm not that person that can't go back to my neighborhood, you know, and sit here and be like, nah, I'm better. Nah, I'm not. Yeah. These still my best friends. Yeah. You know, I grew up with them. I go sit on my stoop and hang out with my family. I'm not better than somebody else because of, you know, where I've been and what I did. Nah. Right? I'm cut from the same bread that everybody else cut from. I'm born in the streets of Jamaica. I'm never forget where I came from. Yeah. Right? I just know where I want to go. And I'm never going to forget the people that, you know, helped structure and guide that through me throughout my time. Yeah. You know, so I never forget where I come from. No. But I think also along that line it was learning that lesson for the past couple of years of changing such a big environment, of being in this school system that I was in for 23 years and leaving. I had a bitterness towards where I was because I think more of where I was in my headspace and the environment I was in, how I handled that environment. And now 3 years later, I just read a quote and it was like,
You don't conform to the environment you're in. Be you and change the environment.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel that way now. Like I've accepted, like there were people in my life that were in my life every day, and now they're not. And I don't forget them, and I appreciate them, good and bad, but you just keep going. Like you go.
Got to.
You go. I'll never forget it now where I came from, but I was trying to. And those were my faults.
Yeah, listen, and you know, never, and don't mistake it, it's not a negative. It's a positive. You know, to understanding where you came from, because it built you.
Yes.
It built you up. So sometimes it broke you down, but it broke you down to build you back up stronger. And you know, and you grow. And the big thing is that you got to continually keep growing, no matter what.
Yeah.
And you know, just watching growth between, you know, the knowledge that we're putting out and just watching, it's like watching a baby grow. You know, what is it gonna become?
Yeah.
You never know until you put both feet in and, you know, eyes down, 10 toes, and just grind.
Yeah.
You know, and it's always going to be a grind, no matter how successful we get, no matter how successful, you know, the system, the culture, no matter what, it's always going to be a grind, because everybody wants to get to the top. You know, and you got to
self-reflection.
Never forget where you come from, because where you came from brought that process, and you know, set you to be at this point.
Yeah, 100%.
It's all good stuff.
It is. All right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh yeah, probably episode 10, but
probably episode 12. Yeah. 5 episodes in there.
We gonna keep it rolling. Make sure you go to that YouTube station, subscribe at the bottom, and you know, give us your feedback. Tell us what you like.
Send us some guests we're gonna bring on here in the fall.
Oh yeah,
we
got a big guest coming up in the near future here. You know, might as well grab onto her while she's home. So, you know, I'm putting it out there. You know, we got a special guest coming.
Cool. All right.
Till next time.
See ya.
See ya.